It's a nice day out here. For once, it's under 144 degrees. It doesn't feel like I live in the devil's nutsack today. So, let's talk about RT Life's video. He raced a Ripp Supercharged Challenger that had no other mods on a can tune. Let's talk about how I feel about that, and let's go get a launch on what a built Ripp Supercharged car will do. You know, that one. Alright, so RT Life put up a video, right, where he called out, well, I don't know if you would say he called out, but he raced a Ripp Supercharged V6 Charger, okay? Here's the thing, the Ripp community is small. We all kind of know each other, and if we don't know you, Chris Roca, Dark Card NY on Instagram, he knows you. That's the Ripp ambassador, if you will, to everything that we're doing, okay? So I know what's in the guy's car. He has no other supporting mods for that vehicle. The guy is still running the can tune. And let me tell you something about the can tune from Ripp. That's a very, very, very safe tune, okay? I'm running an extremely aggressive tune. Here's also the big difference about what I have compared to that gentleman's Charger, which his car looked good, don't get me wrong. Not exactly my style, but hey, to each their own. I don't judge people on their builds unless you drive a Honda, and half the time you can't even judge them because you got some turbos that are usually bigger than my motor. So one of the big things RT Life put out was, I got more torque. You don't have more torque than me, okay? I got more horsepower. You don't have more horsepower than me. I run 3 whatevers in the back. Me too, okay? Now, here's the supporting mods that I have that I feel like I would be a better race. We're gonna start off with the driver. If you look at, I don't know, any of my other videos, especially from last year, I know this year we've been kind of slacking on the racing. We're working on it. I'm a more seasoned driver. And what I mean by that is I have track time. I have plenty of hours of testing. I know every nook, cranny, and bolt that's in my car, okay? Cool, driver, we're gonna leave that one alone. Say what you will. The other things that, advantage-wise, I think I have a 390 limited slip diff in it. The gentleman he raced was on a 268, okay? Self-explanatory. If you don't know what I'm talking about there, this probably isn't the channel for you. I also have 230mm axles, so they're stronger for the takeoff. Which leads me to the big one. I'm running the same amount of boost. I don't know where he got 16 pounds from, because nobody's running 16 pounds of boost on a Ripp. You would be over rotating the blower, and yeah, that's just not how it works. I'm running 12 pounds, okay? Yes, I have the coils and all that craziness, but the biggest advantage I have a fully built Paramount Performance transmission from Bill Scher at Paramount Performance in Rock Hill, South Carolina. I'm also running a Dominator stall, which means I can launch the hell out of the car, which means I can downshift it and boost launch, which, let's talk about what a boost launch is right here. So, V6ers, this is what we mean. You hear the blow-offs open, right? I'm in a high gear, it means I'm producing boost, and then you hit it. That's a boost hit rolling, okay? Don't just put it in drive and mash the gas. You're not going to get the result that you're hoping for. If anything, it's going to slow your car down. So I would post those races that he had too, but he asked me not to, and I'm gonna respect him. I don't have a problem with RT Life, okay? Not a problem at all. I actually think his cam charger sounds pretty good. Not mad at 5.7. Believe it or not, I have a lot of experience with the 5.7 Hemi, because one of my good buddies in the Marine Corps, Joe Dalo, he had one, and when he was on deployment, I drove his car all the time. I actually love that car. But I have a lot of experience there. So yeah, torquey, of course. But would you beat a performance vehicle variant? Someone who had the sport mode, who was tuned, who had 390 gearing, who has ridiculous amount of weight loss on the vehicle, who knows what they're doing? I don't think you would. I don't think you would. And if you want to prove me wrong, you don't have to race me. Race Dark Card NY. He's in New York. He's not that far from you, and I'm more than positive he's down. The other point I want to make we're talking about the boost launch. I showed you guys an example of that a second ago. You have to look at a centrifugal supercharger, and I know Chris and Ripp is gonna hate me saying this, almost like a turbo. What I mean by that is a turbo is rotated off of the exhaust, okay? A centrifugal supercharger like the Vortec V3 that's in my car is ran off of a belt, okay? That belt has to be revved up to a certain point where the impeller is producing boost, okay? If you're just cruising along at 40 and you're in drive and you're in a high gear and you hit it, a few things have to happen. You have to drop gears, for one, okay? You have to be down in the RPM range for the boost to catch, and then you go. In RT Life's video, that didn't happen. That guy was obviously in drive on a 268 gear running 16 pounds of boost. Still wondering where you got that because I'm fully sponsored and I don't have 16 pounds of boost. But the takeoff, there was no takeoff there, okay? And yeah, there's this whole debacle on his video of he left on 3. Well, you're supposed to leave on 3 in drag racing. That's how it works, people. For those of you who are new to drag racing, hey, I completely get it. You don't know any better. It's all right. But when he hit it, he was already in a lower gear. You could hear his car. He hit it, he was gone. That's what you're supposed to do. I'm not knocking him for that. But the other gentleman in the Ripp Supercharged Charger did not drop gears. He didn't know what he was doing, okay? Once again, you can ask any of my 392 buddies here in the area. 20 roll, I'm gonna murder you. 40 roll, I'm gonna murder you. 60 roll, hang it up. You don't got a chance, okay? That's how I look at that. Now, another thing I want to talk to you about today, we're gonna move away from the RT video. There it is. Hey, that's how I feel about it. Race dark kart. That's where we're gonna leave it, okay? The other thing I want to talk to you about today is dip. We're gonna talk about dipping your vehicle and how I really feel about that, because I don't know if you can see Valkyrie behind me, but she's red again. She's back to the Touareg, okay? Here's a couple reasons why. So I love the Touareg, right? I love having a little bit of shiny paint, okay? But here is some of the bigger problems with dip. For one, upkeep of dip, it's fucking ridiculous. Honestly. Yeah, it's sprayable vinyl, okay? Yes and no. Mine was clear coated, and one of the biggest gripes I always had about the dip was it was orange peeled as a motherfucker. What I mean by that is you would look down the side of the vehicle and there would just be ripples, like it was swimming, okay? I never liked that. So, got to a point one day where I was like, hey, let's paint correct the dip, okay? As soon as I touched it with a buffer, rip through it. That was the end of the dip. And we started tearing it off. And I started noticing overspray in a lot of areas. There's still pieces of dip down on this that I can't get out. I need tweezers to get a lot of this out. There's overspray all the way up through the fenders, okay? So you need somebody, if you're gonna have them dip your vehicle, who is well-versed in painting vehicles. The reason why I ask that is they know exactly how to hold the gun. They know exactly how many layers to spray. They know exactly the saturation points and how to get there and not spray overly thin pieces everywhere. Because while the car looks great right now, I'm telling you right now, there's dip everywhere. Everywhere. Now, lo and behold, not a big deal. They have dip dissolver. It's not gonna mess with my clear coat. So we're gonna talk about that here soon. And we're gonna be taking that down. And I got a couple of wrap ideas coming. Okay? So let's talk about one more thing we need to talk about today. And that is Texas heat and boost. I'm having a hell of a time this year. I don't know if you could tell. It's humid. It's pretty nasty out here right now. Okay? It's around probably 90 degrees right now. I said 85 earlier. I think that's what I saw earlier. But the humidity is around 90%. On a boosted vehicle, that's trying to do is your compressor's trying to compress water. You're not gonna get a lot of boost. You know, I'm probably down 5 pounds of boost. I'm still having trouble right now locating a drive shaft. So at this point, I'm gonna put the call out to everybody. If your uncle, Jesus Christ, if your Uncle Bob's shop in Brookhurst, New Hampshire can do a drive shaft, send it my way. I need one. QA1 won't do it. G-Force won't do it. Drive shaft shop won't do it. We have found one place that'll do it. Am I willing to spend the $5,000? No, I'm not. Sorry, I'm not really into $5 grand for a drive shaft. That's a big ass straw with some shit on the end of it so I can go faster. At that point, I'm just gonna buy a bunch of stock V6 drive shafts, blow them the fuck up, and put another one in. Fuck it. Between that and comment below and tell me, racers, what methanol kit do you trust? I've been told Alky controllers, but I don't know which kit to pick up from them to Frankenstein into this thing. And P&R Welding has already told me that they'll make me a fuel cell. Cool. I want to see what you guys think. So there's my synopsis today. We're gonna get crazy with it. Talked about RT last video. We talked about what's going on with Valkyrie, and we talked about why or why not you want to dip. Maybe do a little more research into who you're gonna have dip your vehicle before you dip it. Because there's other ones out here. I just experienced some of another one a couple minutes ago. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. And then there's some who, I'm not gonna put a name out there. If you wanna know who I'm talking about, look at past videos. Not so much. It is what it is. They understand that they messed up in certain areas, and they've already told me they have no problem making it better. So, hey, shouts out to them. We'll talk about it in a later video. But in the meantime, guys, that's it. Like, share, subscribe, all that crazy shit. Throw your comments below. Tell me what methanol kit to have. Stay savage.